Please be seated. Good morning. Welcome to the 2014 Caritas Veritas Symposium. Our theme this year, Caritas at Veritas in Community, provides us with an opportunity to reflect upon the most distinctive element of our Dominican University culture, our shared recognition of the importance of relationship. Authentic, genuine relationship marked by compassion, affection, and generosity of spirit is the very heart of who we are at Dominican. And though the dynamics can be complex and the tensions real, Dominican University's mission of preparing students to pursue truth, to give compassionate service, and to participate in the creation of a more just and humane world can only be fully enacted in a diverse community. This truth we have inherited from the sisters who founded the university, and we continue to learn from the sisters who minister among us today. It is both their legacy and their lived reality. How we interpret this legacy for the contemporary moment is the subject of our deliberations today. We tackle educational inequality, interfaith cooperation, controversial reading lists, immigration, healthcare ethics, and a myriad of other issues and problems that call forth love and demand truth-seeking. I thank all of our presenters for their diligent and creative preparation for this gathering. Last year, in my opening letter to start this symposium, I quoted Sister Kay Ash, Dominican sister, professor, trustee, and prioress of the sisters when I was first appointed president. Many of you know that this year Sister Kay died. And although her death was a great sadness to us, her wisdom and power of example remain. She wrote, "The search for self, for wisdom, for love, for truth, for justice, for God, is strenuous and unending. We need good companions in order to persevere in it. In good company, in a community of conviction, the quest never loses its relevance, its urgency, or its savor. This day, let us savor the quest together in good company." Again, welcome.
Loving God, source of all good gifts, we offer thanks and praise on this day for our Dominican community, for the Dominican sisters who show us the meaning of Caritas at Veritas, for our teachers who challenge us to pursue the truth, for our friends who love us as we are and call us to be our best. For all of those who work without thanks to make this university like a home. We are greatly blessed, and yet we know that life in community can also be complex and even painful. Give us ears of compassion to hear the struggles of your people, and hearts open to transformation, that your way of love and truth might be realized for all. Amen.
Dominicans got sisters, specifically Sinsinawa Dominican sisters. In the 13th century, St. Dominic founded a new kind of apostolic community to go out to the people and share the truth and the joy of the gospel by word, example, and by compassionate service. In other words, Caritas et Veritas. People were amazed by the first Christians saying, "See how these Christians love one another." So too, the authenticity of our Caritas becomes clear in the way that we relate to one another at this Dominican University community.
Caritas. Caritas is the bond that shapes community, sustains it, and prompts its members, that's all of us, to become the hands and feet and eyes and ears of Jesus for the world.
Caritas et Veritas are the gifts of God's message to us. Love one another as I have loved you. Caritas and Veritas makes the Sinsinawa Dominicans, makes Dominican University, makes our homes and our working places life-giving places to be.
In the very early 70s, Sister Mary Mulhern was Dean of Admissions. She looked at the Dominican student body and she said, "Who is not here?" She inspired us to be more serious about recruiting a diverse student body. That fall, many bright-eyed young Black women joined the freshman class. The women who were here already were also bright-eyed and young, and almost all white. When the two groups began to live together, tensions were inevitable. The white students were uneasy and reluctant to leave their segregated comfort zone. And the Black students had no peers in the upper classes, and it was hard for them to feel that they belonged. I was Dean of Students at the time, and one recurring complaint was noise in the residence hall. So I called one of the bright-eyed, lovely, serious offenders to come to my office, and I laid out the case. She put her hands on her hips and said, "Sister, if I listen to my records the way you want me to, the only pleasure I'll get will be watching them go round and round." We stared at each other and burst into laughter. In that moment of spontaneous transparency, we each saw the other in a different light. We were not adversaries living on different planets. We were two people with funny bones. Sometimes Caritas, community, can be given a large boost by a sense of humor. What can happen in our heads and our hearts in order to continue to strengthen Caritas in a diverse community? What would it take? Spontaneity, transparency, readiness? And what effect would it have on our search for truth? What is the link between Caritas and Veritas? Between a loving community and the ministry of education?
Ubi caritas est vera, Deus ibi est, Deus ibi est. Ubi caritas est vera, Deus ibi est, Deus ibi est.
Caritas in community requires respect for every person. Now, when people come to work in the McGreal Center, we all agree to respect one another. Now, Team McGreal is a very diverse team. We are intergenerational group. Our ages range from 19 to 84 years old. We represent various ethnic and racial groups, learning styles, and religious traditions. And each one of us has a very distinct personality. Yet, we all work very hard to practice our common belief that respect for every person is the foundation for Caritas in community.
Like the McGreal community, one of the communities that I belong to, the English department community, is also characterized by Caritas. We also reflect diversity. We are young and old, male and female, married and single, religious and lay. We also embody racial and religious diversity. And yet, with all of these differences, we are more than colleagues. We are a community of teachers and learners, united by bonds of affection.
The fruit of Caritas and Veritas in community is joy, the joy in living and learning together. Until I arrived as a student at Rosary College many years ago, I did not know that studying could be joyful. When I got here, I learned from the sisters and others here that when we seek and share the truth in love, we experience joy. Neuroscience tells us that a happy brain is more productive because it is cradled in the arms of Caritas. Neuroscience also tells us that the brain is skilled at social networking. It tells us that we seek new ideas together. We like to work with others. We like to share what we love and explore new frontiers together. The Dominican pursuit of Veritas is a joyful adventure.
The sisters, faculty, staff, and students work together to foster the mission of Caritas and Veritas within the community here at the university. At the heart of our Dominican tradition is relationship, all the way back to Father Mazzucchelli. Father Mazzucchelli's words to the students at St. Clara Academy, "Let all be done with charity and joy," echo here in the halls of Dominican. As we see the friendship, love, and joy among the sisters, faculty, staff, and students as they go through the day, it is evident that Caritas lives within our halls and among us.
Reflecting on Caritas and Veritas in community sets my mind to our students. Renee Howard, a graduate of 2013, was called after his graduation to work in Boston at a Jesuit school. It is Cristo Rey. He was a volunteer who, toward the end of the year, wrote this to me, and I quote, "Many people we work with have forgotten how to love themselves and how to love others. These students are lacking life, which is why we give them our own," end quote. Here at Dominican, we seek to live Caritas in community with our students. Relationships form the body of Dominican University. We belong to one another.
Caritas creates relationships, creates a community. If you want to see what Caritas and community looks like, look at Sister Melissa. Working in the office with this relationship-oriented woman, I daily find evidence of relationship forms the body of Dominican. Each spring, Sister Melissa invites the graduating seniors to meet with her. As soon as the email invitation is sent, students begin to line up to sign up for their time with Sister Melissa. She wants to know how they're doing personally. How has their experience at Dominican been? What could have made it better? And what can we do to make it better? Some of these students, this is not their first time meeting with Sister Melissa, so they know what to expect. Others have no idea. Seeing these students leave the office after their conversation with Sister Melissa is just a joy. You can see how she has made them feel special, because that's what she does. She makes each person she meets feel special. What an example of the truth relationships form the body of Dominican University.
Caritas is at the heart of everything. Sisters promise to love wholeheartedly. At our best, we see the face of God in every single person. A long time ago, I was beginning my freshman year in college. My family had gotten in our family station wagon and made the trip from Bloomington, Illinois to Rosary College. As we pulled up outside of Coughlin Hall, my father began to cry. My dad was not a crier. So as we got out of the car and began to get my 2 suitcases and my couple of boxes out of the trunk, Sister Jean Brennan, who at the time was the residence hall director, came over to our family, and she simply put her arm around my dad and said, "She'll be okay." I suspect that at that time, Dad was feeling, here is my oldest daughter. We're taking her to the big city. She's beginning her adult life. That small gesture from Sister Jean Brennan meant a great deal to our family. And so today, every August, on move-in day, I have the wonderful privilege of being out front, offering an occasional hug, encouraging words, but most of all, looking around and simply saying to new students and to returning students, welcome to Dominican. You'll be all right.
Caritas and Veritas complement one another, and they speak to what we strive for and commit to in community. Caritas, living a life rooted in love, and reaching out to our neighbor, both near and far away, especially those most vulnerable. I see this at Dominican University in its strong commitment to justice shown in so many aspects, in the wonderful opportunities for service learning. Veritas, the constant search for God and for truth, shown through assiduous study and academic excellence. I have the opportunity to be at periodic
board meetings, and I see the Board of Trustees at Dominican University as a community committed to Caritas and Veritas as they make decisions for the good of the university. A recent example comes to mind as we launched the new nursing program. That took much study and research, asking difficult questions over several years. The questions were always centered around, what are the needs of the students? What are the needs of the community? And at the forefront of all of them was, how aligned is this with our mission and with our charism of Caritas Veritas?
We have Sister St. Catherine of Siena was a 14th century mystic. And she wrote in her journal, and she called it a dialogue. And often she had dialogues with Christ. And one of those dialogues said, Christ was telling her that I have distributed all of my gifts so that no one has them all. I gave them to you so that you would act as charity for one another. So when you are with one another, you are dispensing my grace and my love to each other. And Christ said, all I want is love. Loving me, you will begin to realize that you will love your neighbor. And when you do this, you will be a service to everyone wherever you are.
So far we've talked about Caritas, how it forms a community, and how it affects our students. I'd like to add a third way and give you an example from the past. When the community at Dominican reached out to satisfy a local need. In the spring of 1967, a father in a South Chicago neighborhood asked some visiting Dominican students, do you really want to help? Find a place for our children to play. In response to that request, West Campus and the college pool became a summer playground for the children of that father's Southwest Chicago neighborhood. The question I ponder today, where will Caritas lead Dominican this fall?
In the 13th century, when St. Dominic founded the Dominicans, St. Francis of Assisi founded the Franciscans, and they have been first cousins ever since. We're blessed today to have in the midst of our Dominican family and faculty a Franciscan cousin,
Sister Felicia Wolf.
And I am proud to be one of your cousins because Dominican University is a Caritas community. Caritas is unlimited love and kindness. Which one of us, which human being can achieve Caritas? No one. Caritas is built in relationship, and community is the strongest relationship. A Caritas community at its best is so real, so authentic, that it reaches the depths of each individual member and creates new life. A family is a Caritas community. Religions are based on Caritas communities. Nations are built by Caritas communities. These communities produce books, scientific discoveries, music, dance, theater, even good business and good politics. Dominican University, as a Caritas community, is creating a future of unlimited love and kindness in every classroom and in every office today.
In everything we say about Caritas, we need to remember that it is also one of God's names. God is Caritas. God is love. Think what that means. If we come to know Caritas, we come to know God. If we live in Caritas, we live in God. St. John said this in the first letter he wrote in the Bible. God is love, is Caritas, and anyone who abides in love abides in God, and God in that person.
At the heart of the universe is Caritas, for God is love. At the heart of the Dominican University is a community enlivened by Caritas. At the heart of community is relationship. Relationships form the body of Dominican University. But relationships demand respect for others' truth, patience with difference, a willingness to forgive anew every morning, and to live with an open border of compassion and care. Caritas compels us to speak the truth in love to one another, and also to invite others to discover the joy of a community in love with truth. Together today, as a community, we seek to explore the breadth and depth of the mystery of Caritas, so that we might become, in practice, what we aspire to be, so that all might marvel. See how they love one another.
In closing, let us pray. Holy God, thank you for these moments, both to celebrate Caritas and Veritas, and to center ourselves in love as we open the 5th annual symposium. We thank you for all gathered here, for all who have gone before us, and for all to come after us. With your grace, we remember the sisters and the countless companions of theirs who have lived in support of the mission of Dominican University. May all of us draw upon their inspiration as we seek to strengthen our school, to welcome all students, to grow in global awareness, to promote a just society, and to foster peace in the world. How we count on your continued mercy to help all of us together. Amen.
Once again, in thanking the sisters for their witness, not only today, but with their lives. So just a couple of announcements before we go to our sessions. First, in addition to the sisters who wrote their own script, I would like to thank their director, Warren Green, and Amy Olney for making this morning such a beautiful celebration. They want Warren to come out here and take a bow. I'd also like to thank Nora Collins, who is the chair of our logistics committee, for making today possible. So just a couple of brief announcements. If you have not already registered and gotten your name tag and your lanyard, please head over to the Schaefer-Silveri Atrium of Parmer Hall to do that. While you are there, you will also get one of these old card catalog cards, which our students might not even know what these are. But our friends in the Butler Center have asked us, as part of our consideration of identity and diversity and love, to think about the children's stories that help to make us who we are. And they've asked us if there was a children's book that spoke to you of love and taught you something about who you are, to just write the name of the book on the card and bring it up to the center, which is on the second floor of the Crown Library, and they will be doing a whole display of all of our most beloved children's books. So please make a point of doing that at some point today. All of our terrific sessions begin promptly at 10 a.m. So after we close here with our song, we invite you to move directly to your sessions. And as you go through the day, we hope that you will tweet some of your thoughts and insights. We're using hashtag CV Symposium. So let's communicate with each other over social media throughout the day. And now I invite everyone to stand and join us for our closing hymn, Salam Alaikum.
Oh, yeah.